One thing we know from Afghanistan, and these heartbreaking scenes today in Afghanistan of weeping female students who couldn't go to university, and men actually in Afghanistan then going out in protest for them. I mean, really heart-rending scenes, Esther, here of these young women in Afghanistan weeping because they've been told they cannot now continue their education. And then you've got male students walking out in protest. Very brave thing to do. A bit like we saw in Iran with the men protesting in support of the women being oppressed there.
You know, I thought that this was very sad, you know, that these women, have been told they're not allowed to pursue their education, and now they're really upset about it. But I thought, you know, well, at least the men are walking out in protest, you know, because, you know, I suppose I assumed wrongly that the men would, be in favour of the women not being educated and thinking that they, you know, shouldn't have any dreams outside being in the home, right? Okay, but I was wrong to make that assumption, okay? And then it got me thinking, right, when it comes to, the Manosphere and the Red Pill community, how many times have you seen comments going on about how, women should have their rights taken away, women shouldn't be in the workplace, women should all be in the home, women should be made to go to, homemakers class after they've finished school, and that they should all be stay-at-home mums, and they shouldn't be in the working environment, and they shouldn't be allowed to vote, and, you know, stuff like that, right? And I'm kind of thinking, these guys in Afghanistan are supportive of these women wanting to be educated, yet in the Red Pill community and in the Manosphere, this is modern Western men, and they're, more sexist than, the guys in Afghanistan, okay? And kind of think that, all women are the same, and all women should be in the home.
Women need to get, when they're young, they need to get wifed up, knocked up, to live happy. And I did talk about female happiness coming from women having a ton of sex with as much as they can with as few men as possible, but also comes from making cookies, sandwiches, and babies.
Injecting yourself like a giant penis into the world as a woman pales in comparison to doing great work in the home, in the frame that a man creates for you, so that you can mentor to, teach, and guide children to be everything that you want to see in the world. I'm the CEO, and she is the COO. So I decide the direction, I decide the big plan, but she helps me execute, right? Why would a woman want anything else? Do they want to go and pay taxes and work for some other man? Do they want to compete in the marketplace? What do you want to do? You want to save the world? You know how you save the world as a woman? Bearing and caring for, raising really good children. The world has tricked you, women. Feminism doesn't work. Women aren't more happy because they're career women. Women aren't more happy because they have power over men. Women are on more depressed medications, pills, and therapy than they've ever been. Why? Because the natural order has been shirked, and you've been given a bullshit lie to believe that working for a stranger at some corporation and calling him boss is more noble than serving your husband, serving your family. It was a trick.
Now, to be clear here, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a stay-at-home mum. If the husband and wife both want that and it works for them, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Or if a woman is never had any interest in any career, but her ambition has always been to be a brilliant wife and mother and be good at baking and cooking and keeping her house all lovely. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's perfectly good ambition to have. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, okay? The issue I have is the fact that, some of these guys, in the Red Pill community, they one, think that women are all the same, and two, that they are so threatened by women being successful outside the home, right? Okay. Because, first of all, this idea that women are all clones of each other, they all have the same thoughts, they all have the same desires, they all, want the same out of life, you know. Once you've met one woman, you've met them all because they're all the same. This is an attitude that seems to be quite common in the Red Pill community, and it's, really dehumanizing, okay? It's men are individual people with different personalities, different interests, and different ambitions, but women, they're just all identical, okay? It's really really dehumanizing, right? Because obviously there are a lot of women who do have, like, you know, different interests, different ambitions, and it's not all a case of them wanting to be in the home. A lot of women do want career and do want to be educated, okay? And it's not all because they've brought into a feminist lie, because even women in Afghanistan, okay, are upset when they're told that they can't be educated, okay? So it's not all about a feminist lie. Like, not everything's about feminism, okay? And then the other thing that is, like, quite sad, really, is the way that, like, so many of these guys are so threatened by women in the workplace. Like, they are so terrified of women doing well, okay? Like, the claim that, oh, if a woman's working, she's working for a man. Instead of serving her husband, she's working for another man. And it's like, well, actually, I hate to break it to you, but not all bosses are men. My boss is a woman, okay? And in the company that I worked for before, my bosses were a man and a woman, because it was a husband and a wife who owned the company, okay? So not all bosses are women, okay? And also the idea that if women are working, they're projecting themselves out there like a penis, and they're being masculine, and career women are masculine, and they're not being feminine, and the only way to be feminine is to be, as a woman, is to be in the home. It's like, well, that's not true either, because there's a lot of career choices where, like, having feminine qualities are actually good, like working with the elderly, working with children, working with special needs, even working with animals, okay? Jobs like nurses, doctors, teachers, even say like counsellors, psychologists, having a nurturing, caring side, being good at reading people, being good at communicating with people. Not every, like, job is it just masculine qualities that you need to be good at it, okay? And I'm not saying that women can't be successful in jobs where they need to be a bit aggressive or competitive and show some masculine traits. I'm not saying no women can do that, and nor am I saying that men can't be good in caring professions either. I'm just saying that if you were to make a generalization about masculine traits and feminine traits, not every career path is it just masculine traits, okay? So it's like this kind of sexist attitude that, like, anything outside the home is all masculine, and the only way for a woman to be feminine is to be in the home. Or career choices, you have to be masculine to get on, and you'll be working for the man because only men can be successful. It's all this, like, it's living in the dark ages. Like, these guys don't understand that women can do well, okay, in careers, okay, and they seem so goddamn threatened by it, okay, because they'll say, like, like, when it comes to the red pill community, like, so much of the content is just, like, running down women, okay? It's all like, women are less intelligent, women are illogical, or women are always in their feelings, women are no good at anything, men have to be better at, if you said, like, women are good at blinking, they'd be like, some of these guys would be like, no, men are much better at blinking, you mangina simp. It's like this constantly, like, thing about having to, like, put women down to feel good about themselves. And I think, like, why do these guys in the red pill community need to constantly run down women to feel good about being a man? Like, why, like, if they want to encourage men to feel good about themselves, why do they need to put women down constantly to do it? Why? It's like they need to compare themselves to feel good about being a man. They have to compare themselves to women, and they have to, like, rubbish the woman to feel good about being a man. And it's like, why do you have to do that? It's like, why do you need to listen to loads of woman bashing to feel empowered as a man, okay? And when they say stuff like, oh, women are so more miserable nowadays. Now they have their freedoms, it's just made them miserable. If there was a patriarchy, they'd be much happier. Or if they were all in the home, they'd be much happier. If we stopped them working and voting, they'd be much happier. And like, we all know full well, a lot of these guys do not care about the happiness of women, okay? The reason why they would like all women in the home is because it would make them happier, okay? The reason why they don't want women to do well in careers outside the home is because they feel threatened, okay? They'll just sort of say this like, oh, but, you know, women will be so much happier, you know, if we tell them what to do. They'll say that because they want to just, like, convince themselves that they're being right and fair, okay? When, like, in reality, like, if all women were happy being in the home, having loads of children, and, like, not having any career and having less rights than men, if they were all happy with that, feminism would never have, like, arisen in the first place, okay? You know, women are individual people, they have different dreams, and women can have a career and a family, okay? Lots do, okay? Because that's another thing, is that some guys seem to think it has to be one or the other. They say stuff like, oh, if a woman pursues a career, she's going to be a crazy cat woman, and it's like, well, no, a lot of women have careers and families. It doesn't have to be one or the other, okay? So yeah, and like, these guys that sort of desperately want women to not be at work, want them all to be stay-at-home mums, and want to go back to the past, it's like, that's never going to happen. These guys who are having trouble moving with the times, they're going to, like, have to accept it at some point. Like, there's no going back, you know. The toothpaste is out of the tube, you know. Too much has changed in this society, you know. Like, housework is not the same as what it was. If you have young children, they don't stay young forever. Like, when they're at school and then they become teenagers, they don't need their parents watching them 24/7, okay? And, like, a lot of households, they can't survive on one income, you know. Most women that are in the workplace are not there because they're radical feminists. They're there because they need to provide for the family, okay? And, you know, women have dreams, and they like to sort of be able to, you know, climb the ladder in some occupations, and they like to prove, like, how smart they are and that they're good at stuff as well, okay? That's not just a masculine thing, okay? And women are, like, learning their true potential, and there's nothing these guys can do to stop it. Like, they can keep moaning about it on the internet, but you can't stop it, okay? So, yeah, guys who, like, if they're dreaming of a world where you can have all women as stay-at-home mums, it's not going to happen. So you're going to have to accept that, like, times change, okay? You're going to have to accept it at some point, okay? That's all I've got to say on that for now. Thank you for listening.